Birthday Hawa, Birthday Hawa Shai, Birthday Hawa, Birthday Hawa Shai. All praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Kakadash, bless you, Yahweh. Bless you in the name of the only God and Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Spirit Holy. Shattered in the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient language that has been returned unto us Hebrew Israelites that we can call upon our power, one consent. Of course, giving double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops, the great millstone who well. Peace and salutation to the election of the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and those Israelite foreigners likened unto the speckled bird that are variegated from the difference of appearances due to our scattering across the four winds, but lineage going back by the way of their fathers to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which we try the spirit by the spirit, where they're children of the power. It's the spirit that bear witness with our spirit that we're children of the Most High. Shemi Al-Mafmani Samapa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp, located here in the city of Philadelphia, is coming with another wee lesson. Former U.S. Marine charged in Mawath or death of homeless man breaks silence. Daniel Penny, the U.S. Marine vet who is facing criminal charges after he put a homeless man, Jordan Neely, in a fatal chokehold in New York City at the start of the month, has decided to speak publicly about the incident. And you have it, he put the man into a rear naked choke that was, and allegedly it was held for quite a bit of time. And it says in an interview, the New York Post, the 24-year-old Penny said that the fatal altercation that took place on a subway train in NYC had nothing to do with race. Neely, a 30-year-old so-called black man, really was an Israelite man, had a long history with mental illness. Our people have spirits on them, and they're under the curses. And a lot of our people do roam subway corridors, beg, and are pretty much a disturbance to the peace in a lot of places. And our people has an astonishment. And you can read that in the book of Deuteronomy, just so that you know the Israelites were put under these particular curses by the Lord due to our disobedience. And as you read some of the consequences of disobedience, and it will speak about our financial situation. But I'll start here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28:16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. The field being the world, all right, the city. Subway station A, the guy, roaming the city subway station system. Okay. Going on. It says, right here, verse 21, Deuteronomy 28:21, the Lord shall make the pestilence goes into diseases, cleave unto thee, till he has consumed thee off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. Alright, and wherever we go, you have these curses that's following us. Okay? Wherever Israelites are, so don't think that because you're in another land that these curses are not upon you if you're an Israelite. And these are here. Okay? And this is verse 28 and 28. It says, the Lord Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Astonishment of heart goes into bewilderment. Okay? Which is basically being confused. Alright? The feelings of being perplexed and confused. A lot of times you see our people, they're in this state as if dust has been thrown in their face. Okay, and they can't see, the light, which would be the truth. Especially to actually go to their enemy. Which if they had, some of our people, if they had discernment, they would know, hey, that man particularly shouldn't be troubled, because he ain't having it. Sometimes you could look at certain people's face and you can see, not to really come up to them, but our people got these curses on them, and it's just the Lord way of bringing down judgment on our people via the hand of Esau Edom, which is I believe who that guy could descend back to Esau Edom. All right. And it says here, and thou shalt become astonishment and a proverb and a byword among the nations, whether thou shalt lead thee. The Lord lead us in the scattering across the four winds. So, wherever we are a Shema, which goes into a horror or appallment, in which I'm pretty sure within the heart of that man, or the mind of that man, he was appalled by this, the man, Neely, which is an Israelite man, maybe from the tribe of Judah, so-called Negro, or West Indian, being the tribe of Benjamin, or the tribe of Levi, so-called Haitian. I'm seeing that man in his face, was a appallment. All right, and of course there's the byword, which you have the Shanayana, which goes into just a taunt, So, the scriptures also tell us that verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. And our people, they don't have no you go into assurance of mind, which is basically a support. If they don't have Yahweh Shem Yashai, they don't have no support, to believe in. Like a confirmed stock or stat. At least they be Israelite and be in His truth. Of course, all Israel gonna be saved, but on the side, like the Jake that's lost and don't have the word of Yahweh Shem Yashai, he pretty much is in a dead state, and the enemy can capitalize on it. Okay, Esau. So going on, it said that nearly a 30-year-old so-called black man had a long history of mental illness and 40 prior arrests, ranging from disorderly conduct to assault, and an active warrant out for his arrest from felony assault. I judge a person based on their character, and based on the Jake character, he's seen the guy. You could go into the instance, and you put him in that choke, rear naked choke. Okay. And I'm telling you the different character that most of our people have. Esau Edom, the enemy, don't look at our people as upright or as good. Instead, they see the enmity, or being the separation, the difference, for in a negative fashion. Penny Told newspaper. I'm not going to use this because YouTube will get my video. Pretty much he's saying that everybody who's all met me can tell you I love all people and I love all cultures, and we always hear that, that sentiment. for those that don't want to be pretty much labeled as being for their own people, which all people are for their own people, but he don't want to be classified particularly as being pointed out that he just didn't like him based on his skin color. All right. When asked by the paper what he would say to the family of Neely, whose funeral was on May 19th, Penny said, "I'm deeply saddened for the loss of life." But he took it. It's tragic what happened to him. Hopefully, we can change the system that desperately failed us. All right. So it says second-degree manslaughter. He didn't get a first-degree murder or nothing. But Penny was arraigned in Manhattan criminal court on the charge of second-degree manslaughter. The city medical examiner ruled the death of Neely a homicide. Okay, due to compression of the neck, a chokehold, which would be the rear naked choke. All right, and Penny had pulled Neely to the floor and pinned him with the hold he learned during combat training, according to the video of the incident. And most of these E's are trained. Okay, most Edomites train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They might have trained Krav Maga. I've seen Krav Maga guys come into Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes where you would learn rear naked chokes and putting hooks in and etc. It's in part of the military combatives in most cases. You got a lot of different high-ranking military and military members that actually have black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they actually teach different programs to help with the combatives of the most of those in the military. So they would have this experience, and then with that, that never leaves you no matter what. And it's not hard to do a rear naked choke. Yeah. Jake don't know how to defend a rear naked choke. In most cases. It says Juan Roberto Vasquez, a freelance journalist, was recording the clip and previously told the New York Post that Neely had been threatening and screaming at other passengers in an aggressive manner while complaining of hunger and thirst. And of course, he got spirits on him. I mean, just try to ride on a typical train, subway. Here we got the L train or the Market Frankfurt or Broad Street line. You got a lot of people that are homeless and got mental issues, especially Israelites roaming it. Mainly, you got drug addicts too. But these people, they can be aggressive. You got us. We use the scripture. Like me, I ride it and I just pray, Lord, protect me from these different demons and stuff. But I ain't trying to straight up murder nobody. If I was in a case, some dude, you got dudes that come in your face and I just completely I might just say, hey, and then just however in the spirit I've said politely, I ain't got no money, and they went off, went away from me. It don't mean that, I'm just going to put this dude in a rear naked choke and hold him for excessive amounts of minutes. It takes seconds for somebody to go unconscious from a rear naked choke. And, beyond that, you're dealing damage to the brain and more, you get fatality, death, Mawat. It says at one point Neely started to scream that he was fed up and doesn't care anymore whether he go to jail for life. Okay, and that's the Jake that got put out. It says Penny then approached Neely to restrain him. In the video, other two riders were also seen restraining Neely's arm as Penny holds him in a headlock. After they let go of him, Neely is seen lying motionless on the floor, according to the Post. And he couldn't elaborate on the details of the confrontation because of the pending court case. But it said that it wasn't like anything he experienced anymore. And they got the rest of the article on Epoch Times, which lawyers are arguing it's self-defense. And he said that he never intended to harm Neely. But you have to know the actual, if you understand the technique, like they say, it's technique to use to cut off, designed to cut off air. Well, really cut off, oxygen to the brain. Carotid arteries are getting cut off. You learn, if it's gravity in jiu-jitsu class, or if your instructors didn't tell you the military, that's terrible, and that's not a good enough excuse. It says that until he used this technique, he continued to hold the choke minute after minute, second after second, until there was no life. However, Penny lawyer said that it was acting in self-defense. His attorney previously told him. I mean, he could have choked him, went out, and then just left. He would have resuscitated him, or he would have came out back on his own. If he really felt some type of danger. But hey, he just held it for a excessive amount of time. It says Kenneth and another lawyer, Stephen Razor, issued a statement on the 5th saying Neely had been aggressively threatening their client, and Penny and others acted to protect themselves until help arrived. I mean, you can hold somebody from rear control, like a rear mount, as you could call it, rear mount, or just from the back. I just call it just having back, got his back. You took the back. That's what I call it. Hey, you could add a seatbelt control if you want, or hey, he actually just decided just to choke the guy and hold the choke, even though the guy was already dead. All right, so that's what he's facing. I'm gonna come out with some scriptures and then just leave it as that. This is Ezekiel 35:1. It says, "Moreover, the Lord of the war Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it," represent the Edomites, "and say unto it, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate." Alright, I'm going to go down to verse 35, which is the point. Alright, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, has shed the blood of the children of Israel," which the guy Neely would be an Israelite. His blood was shed by his hand. Alright, that hand, he claims self-defense. "By force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore it said, As I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." So there will be a recompense for the action done, for or to that particular Israelite, and the Lord is going to make sure it happens. Alright, because the Lord is the as you say, all the issues of death belongeth unto him. Okay, so I'm gonna go next to scripture, which I have the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and 15. I'll start at actually verse 14. It says, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun here on earth, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit." I mean, you should have the common knowledge, if a guy's got spirits on him, he's not in his right mind. Hey, if he approach you, like I say, I deal with it spiritually. I'm not carnal. If I felt threatened, obviously I'd do what I had to do, but I'm not gonna do like how that guy did. That was unnecessary. Totally. Just go on. It says that which is crooked cannot be made straight. Esau, Edom is crooked. Alright, he's perverse. You go into the word for crooked is iwath, which is perverted. Okay, to be bent, crooked. Okay, deal perversely. This guy here, he made me feel threatened, so I held him in a choke until help came on the way. But the choke already was applied and already put him out. You killed the guy and held it. Anyway, that which is which is crooked cannot be made straight. It can't be made. Being straight, being the Quan in the Hebrew, which being to be set in order. The Israelites are set in order, and the Israelites are to be upright in order. Okay, simple as that. It's just that most of our people sought out many different inventions and such. All right, and we were a creature was subject unto vanity. All right, I gave you examples of the curses as well. All right, and Esau, as it tells you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it tells you that in verse 4, behold, his soul, which is Esau, which is lifted up, he is proud, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, so you know that the spirit that's within Esau, Edom, the wicked, is not upright. So you can't expect him to do what's agreeable, what's right, in a situation in which, if you had a homeless man in front of you, you're screaming out, going crazy. Obviously, I assess and discern the guy got spirits on him. I don't want to I want to avoid eye contact with him. I don't want to do nothing to tick him off. Things of that you learn, street smarts, simple as that. Okay, but he used it as a means to, use his power, to slay, using jiu-jitsu technique. Simple as that. All right, and this difference, this enmity has been set since the beginning, and it's normal for Esau. All right, it's normal. All right, you go back to Genesis, and it'll tell you how Cain slew Abel. All right, you can read that in the 4th chapter. Okay, you can read about Jacob and Esau. Jacob being our forefather, Esau being the forefather of particularly that Marine, that Daniel Penny, that took the life of Daniel. Was it what's the guy named Neely? But that's pretty much it through the spirit. Leave it at that. Hey, the guy can make his claim, but it's a spiritual thing. You have to discern and know the differences between Jacob and Esau, and how there's a war that goes on spiritually between them, and Esau's traits continue to be shown. And we can prove that we're Jacob and who Esau is. Shalom to the elect. All praise Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shekha Kodesh.